Greetings YouTube. I don't normally do firearm reviews, but the CZ457 Premium Rifle basically doesn't have any English reviews that I could find. I found some in Thai and some other languages, but not in English. So I thought I'd show off mine. I got this about a week ago. It's a very new gun, obviously. This might actually be one of the first ones into the country. So, yeah, no real reviews out there, but I'll give my amateur one for you. Now, the CZ457 Premium is basically a CZ457 training rifle with a nicer stock, a threaded barrel, and a fiber optic front sight. Oh, and a slightly different magazine. It has a metal magazine with a blued base plate. But that's really it. Other than that, it's just a 457 training rifle. Nothing else special. Now, standing in for a 457 training rifle, I do have a 455 training rifle. The feature set of this and the 457 model, I believe, are identical. It's just the redesigned 457 action and the fact that the barrel and receiver are now nitrided instead of blued. And that is true even here on a premium rifle. This is a nitride finish rather than blued. Although it is a nice nitride finish, it's not like what you'd find on an AR-15 or something. It's actually pretty decent looking. But I do prefer bluing. Starting with the back end, we have a nice squishy rubber butt pad compared to plastic. Stock, of course, is really the main selling point here. We have a simple, cheap beechwood stock on the training rifle with kind of cheap, crappy pressed checkering here. It wears off. It's still there, but it's really not very good. For comparison here, we have nice cut checkering. At least I think it's cut. Feels cut. It's roughly comparable in quality to the Browning checkering on this Browning T-Bolt. I'll discuss that in a moment. But the real selling point here, as said, is the stock. It is really beautiful. It goes all the way down, that tiger stripe. We do have engraved CZ457 Premium on both sides. We also have this little flared out bit. This is laminated wood. Personally, I prefer something a little bit more traditional, just a solid wood piece here. That's also flared out. But it's nicely done. There's a tiny little ridge there, but it's you can barely feel it, and everywhere else it's completely smooth. Can't tell. For comparison, it is the same shape here on a training rifle. It's just, as I said, not as nice. Coming out here to the threaded barrel, it's 1/2 by 20, and it does include the thread protector. 1/2 by 20 is a little bit weird. I don't know of any muzzle devices that use that, but you can get adapters. That's not really a big deal. I think it's a European standard. We also have the fiber optic front sight. Just like with the training rifle, it is adjustable. There's a pair of set screws up here at the front on both guns, and I'll just kind of tilt it up and down for elevation. The rear sight, once again, same as on the training rifle. It's kind of an old school military sight, so we have graduations from 25 out to 200. Bearing in mind this is only a 22, so, you know, your 1400 meter setting is not relevant here. But it's a push button thing, it locks in place, it's pretty firm. This one, as said, is a brand new rifle, so it's pretty tight right now, but it'll break in. Rear sight is adjustable for windage with a screw on each side. It just kind of drifts it back and forth. Same as on the training rifle. There are, of course, scope rails on it. This is universal to the 457. I believe these are CZ proprietary, but CZs are pretty common, so getting scope mounts is not a problem. The bolt handle here is blued. I'm not sure if that's standard on all 457s, but it's nice there, and it is not on the 455 training rifle. And that's kind of it for 457's premium specific things. Now I'm going to go into a bit of 457 in general, and then also compare it to the Browning T-Bolt, because these two guns are the same price, whereas this one is significantly cheaper, the training rifle. So, on the 457, you get a pretty good bolt. It's pretty smooth. Now this one, as said, is a brand new gun, so it's a little bit rough, but it will break in. The same is true here on a 455, and at this point, after a couple thousand rounds, it is just butter smooth. It is really, really nice. Same's true for the trigger. Trigger has a tiny bit of grit in it, but it's very predictable. It's fairly light. It's maybe 2 pounds, I would guess. It is adjustable for all the things. I don't know what the minimum weight setting is. I haven't messed with it yet. It is a brand new gun after all. But it's a pretty good trigger. It's definitely on the higher end of factory triggers. It's not an Anschutz level or anything like that, but as I said, it's very, very good. And I expect with a little bit of usage, it will really smooth out to be like the 455 and just be a very, very nice trigger for a factory trigger. The gun does have a cocked indicator there, a little red dot. And just like with the 455 and many other bolt actions, you can pull the trigger while lowering the bolt to decock it. Has a safety here. Have to have it cocked in order to use it. It's good and positive. I like it. It's not as interesting as the old 455 safety, but just kind of this weird flag thing. But, you know, it works. Nothing wrong with it. Incidentally, this one you can also decock that way. Magazine, have a little tab up here you push. It unlocks it. It's nice and positive. It's a very good magazine system. It is single stack. This is a 5-rounder. You can get 10 and 25 rounders for it as well, but they kind of banana out in a ridiculous manner. I already mentioned a nitrided barrel and receiver. Metal swing studs, of course. I'll show you the bottom of the rifle. You can see it's just a beautiful stock all the way around. I will point out that it did come with a big ugly sticker down here, just like it seems all guns have. I don't know why they do that. I wish they would stop. Thankfully, the sticker pulled off easily without tearing up the finish or leaving behind a sticky residue, but just be aware that's how it comes out of the box. I'll run down this on the other side for you. As you can see, it's a very beautiful gun. It is free-floated. Everything on the table is free-floated. And of course, every gun on the table is as accurate as you allow them to be. Firing offhand, they're more accurate than you are, and firing from bench rests, you're pretty much only testing the accuracy of .22 long rifle ammo. Spare magazines for this cost about $25-30 each. Doesn't really matter on the size, they're all the same price. But that brings us to a price standpoint. The training rifle, whether it be a 455 or a 457, and I have seen 457s in stores, costs about $400 out the door, maybe $425. The premium rifle here was $750 out the door. That was $650 at classicfirearms.com, plus about $100 worth of shipping, dealer fees, taxes, all of that. So this is a higher class of gun, and you definitely can see that with this beautiful stock. Which brings us to the T-Bolt. The T-Bolt, in terms of price, is its direct competitor. This is a $750 rifle, not counting the scope and the aftermarket trigger. Now, T-Bolt also has a very nice walnut stock. It doesn't have the tiger pattern, but it is nonetheless a nice stock. It has a nice satin finish on it. Has a plastic butt pad, like the training rifle, and thus it slides all over your shoulder if you're not careful. Now, the T-Bolt is a straight pull, which is much faster, although it is cock on close, which is kind of obnoxious. Let me decock that. This one is not safe to dry fire, by the way. The T-Bolt has 10-round, kind of a figure-8 magazine. Has a little windy wheel on here for loading it. Makes it very, very easy. Much better than a Ruger magazine. Rugers have terrible mags. Now this one has a mirror polish on the barrel and receiver. It is deeply blued and one of the nicer blued finishes I've ever seen. Once again, of course, free-floated. No threaded barrel, that's not an option on this gun at the moment. They off and on make tactical versions of it that have that, but that one doesn't. So, yeah, that's kind of where things are at. You have the $400 utilitarian version of the training rifle, the $750 version of the training rifle for people with more money than sense, which I guess includes me. or for those who just want something really gorgeous. And then you have the T-Bolt, which is, frankly, it's probably the better competition rifle. It's a little bit lighter weight. It has a much faster action and better magazines. And although the trigger on this thing is absolutely atrocious out of the box, you can get an aftermarket one. This is a Jards. Still inferior to the factory trigger on the 455 and 457, but it does bring it up to being competitive. So yeah, hope you enjoyed my quick little review of it. I know it's a little bit rambly. I don't normally do these, but as said, there aren't really any other reviews of this out there. So hope you enjoyed. I will return to VR and flight sim videos in the not too distant future. See you in the next one. Bye.